up, fam? It's your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and I'm back with another video. In this episode of Hood Tales, I'll be telling the story of Latrese Morris Dorsey, a 42-year-old mother of three who tragically lost her life at the hands of her ex-boyfriend after she tried ending their relationship. Before we get into this video, welcome if you're new here to our channel. Please feel free to subscribe, click that notification bell to get notified every time we upload. If you're rocking with the content, smash that like button. Share this video with everyone you know. Make sure you watch until the end to hear the full story. All right, let's jump right into it. Latrese Morris Dorsey was beautiful, with a smile that could warm anyone's heart. Latrese had a passion for helping others and worked as a physical therapist. Latrese was married and was a doting mother to her 3 children and 3 stepchildren. Latrese and her husband would end up going their separate ways, but seemed to maintain a pretty good relationship while co-parenting their children. Latrese eventually moved on. She started dating a man named Earl Maxwell sometime in 2013. The couple's relationship had its ups and downs, with things ultimately fizzling. Latrese ended the relationship with Earl in 2017. But Earl found it hard to accept Latrese's decision and had a pretty hard time letting go after the breakup. By June of that year, Latrese and her children had moved into a new place on Detroit's northwest side. By then, Earl's obsessive behavior had gotten progressively worse, especially when he found out that Latrese had possibly started to see someone new. Earl just would not leave Latrese alone. On Sunday, Father's Day, 2017, Latrese's 4-year-old daughter was watching her mother get ready to go meet with family. Latrese's 14-year-old son was in another room playing his Xbox on his headset. Latrese's older college-age daughter wasn't at home at the time. Latrese's sister was expecting Latrese and the kids to come over to her house to celebrate Father's Day with their elderly father. No one could imagine that what was supposed to be a celebration that evening would turn into a horrifying tragedy. While Latrese was getting dressed, her estranged boyfriend, Earl, entered Latrese's home, and the two reportedly started arguing while Latrese was in the living room with her 4-year-old sitting nearby. During the altercation, several shots rang out, and Latrese's 4-year-old daughter ran to her big brother to get help. She told her big brother what happened. Latrese's son rushed to his mother's side and held her in his arms. A neighbor who heard the gut-wrenching commotion came over to Latrese's house and began performing CPR on her. However, the neighbor's valiant attempts didn't save her. Latrese took her last breaths in her son's arms. When first responders arrived at the scene, Latrese was pronounced gone. Reports say that Latrese was shot multiple times. Latrese's son told police after hearing the gunshots and seeing his mother lying on the living room floor, he saw a black male running from the home and driving off in a dark-colored vehicle. Latrese's 4-year-old daughter was in the same room as her mother and was able to tell everyone what she saw. She talked about seeing her mother lose her life and said, "My mom was shot." The news of Latrese's horrific passing and what her children had to endure devastated Latrese's family. They couldn't believe she was taken so brutally on Father's Day. Latrese's sister told reporters that she was sure her sister's ex-boyfriend, Earl, was the person responsible for her slaying. Police quickly named him a person of interest. Detroit police didn't identify 38-year-old Earl as a suspect in the case at first, nor did they reveal why they were interested in him. 2 days later, police announced that their person of interest was arrested. Earl turned himself in. When investigators named Earl a person of interest, police released a description of him that included the detail that he had the name Latrese tattooed on his left arm. Earl was subsequently charged with first-degree murder and a felony firearms violation. After Earl's arrest, family members told WXYZ that Earl had threatened Latrese just days before her life was taken, saying if he couldn't get in touch with her, he would do something that would possibly end her life. 4 months later, during a preliminary hearing, more chilling details came out about the heinous crime. It was revealed that Earl made disturbing phone calls to Latrese's estranged husband, Paul. Paul told the court that Earl had called him at least 20 times because Latrese had cut her phone off, so the only person he could get in touch with was him. Latrese's ex-husband was asked what Earl said when they first spoke. He answered saying Earl told him, "When I see your wife, I'm going to end her life." Latrese's ex-husband went on to say the second time Earl called, he reiterated he was going to hurt her. He said the threat was made 2 weeks before Latrese's slaying. Latrese's ex-husband said he told her everything from the beginning to when Earl cooled down, saying, "Hey, let's get this business together." Latrese's ex-husband said after making the threat, Earl called him back to recant what he said. A detective also took the stand during the preliminary hearing and read a statement from Earl after his arrest. Earl claimed he accidentally shot Latrese 10 times, adding he was at Latrese's house in the 20,000 block of Avon near 8 Mile to drop off a car part. He said he only took out his weapon to get to a cigarette lighter in his pocket. In Earl's statement, he said, "I got up to tell her to come to the porch. She pulled me to her and I thought she was going to give me a hug. I had my weapon in my right hand and she tried to take it and she grabbed my wrist. She twirled it around and the gun was going off the whole time. I didn't know she was shot until she fell." In May 2018, Earl Maxwell ended up pleading guilty to second-degree murder and weapons charges. Weeks later, he was sentenced to 25 to 50 years in prison. In 2021, 4 years after the terrifying tragedy, Latrese's son Justin, who was just 14 at the time of her passing, graduated from high school with a 4.0 GPA. The high school graduate worked hard to earn his grades while going to the gym 6 times a week and taking out his aggression on the field. His hard work would pay off. Ferris State University offered him a scholarship to play football, where he also planned to follow in his mother's footsteps, majoring in physical therapy. Justin wanted to make his mom proud by getting the degree she always wanted to have. Wow, fam. May Latrese Morris Dorsey continue to rest peacefully. My thoughts and prayers are with her family and her children. Latrese was described as a sweet person, kind and loving. Latrese probably did everything she could to move on from Earl. She moved into a new home, possibly started a new relationship, but that seemed to only fuel Earl's possessive and jealous behavior. I believe Earl went to Latrese's home to confront her about not taking his calls and her possible new relationship. Latrese more than likely refused and asked him to leave. He probably realized at that moment that Latrese really wanted nothing to do with him, and it was really over, and he just snapped. Or Earl may have simply just followed through on his threats towards Latrese, with rage and jealousy being his driving force. It's absolutely heartbreaking what happened to Latrese, especially in front of her children. I know things may never be the same for them, but I pray that they're all doing well. Fam, tell me your thoughts on this tragedy in the comments below. Again, my condolences to Latrese's family. All right, fam, that's it for this episode of Hood Tales. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 Times, and I'm out.